What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of KYP Podcast.
Know your personnel. Make sure when you are searching for our podcast and on your search engines, you're looking under Know Your Personnel. You actually have to spell it out, not just KYP.
Make sure you know how to spell it. It'll be right here. Best producer in the game, Luke, is putting it right below our fingers right now. We're excited about the interview that we have tonight. You're going to want to tune in. I know we've kept it to basketball in the past, but we have a big hitter when it comes to the music industry out in LA. Rudy, let's get right to it.
Let's get it.
What's up, everybody? We have a big-time guest today. I know we've had a couple basketball guests in the past. People are asking, is this just a basketball podcast? We're way more than that. We have one of the most up-and-coming managers in Hollywood right now. He reps Cordae, who, if you haven't listened to it, check out Gifted with Cordae and Roddy Ricch. Ace, thanks for joining us today.
All good, man. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, for our audience, man, Ace just happens to be, we've been best friends since we were about 7 years old. So this is going to be a fun special show tonight.
So I have to ask right away, Ace, what was it like growing up in New Bedford, growing up with Rudy? You know, what were you guys getting into at a young age?
Honestly, it's dope going. I mean, it's extremely multicultural. I'm sorry. It's funny because I was talking with I was talking with one of my homeboys actually. He was asking about it because he's heard about it but never been. And it's funny because you get used to so many different nationalities just being the norm that you actually adopt their cultures, and you don't think about it even as a culture. It's like your culture. Like Portuguese culture is my culture.
Right.
Cape Verdean culture is my culture. Puerto Rican culture is my culture. Dominican culture is my culture. And you don't, when you come from there, it's so multicultural, and everybody's actually from the same street, same neighborhood. It's very, very congested and saturated with so many different walks of life that you don't even see it as different separated verticals of nationalities. It just all feels like one melting pot, kind of like gumbo, if you will. All of it's the culture of the city instead of a culture of individuals.
Right.
And so that's kind of what it was like growing up, which is really unique because I've been all around the world, and it pays so much dividends because with everybody you meet, you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Because you've already identified yourself as, I guess, like this individual who comes from that part of gumbo. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to saying like, no, I'm from here. This is what we do here. I don't really know what we do where we come from. We all go with the flow. We like. There's no specific way of doing
like
anything because
making plans even now for us is weird. It kind of just let's just go about it and see what happens.
yeah. It's it makes you very open-minded naturally. So whereas most people, you kind of need to acquire that by leaving where you're from. Now, in the same sense, most people unfortunately don't leave where we're from. And if they do, they end up coming back. So I do think that in the same sense where it makes you very, very cultured and open-minded and accepting of, whether it be religions, race, any type of ethnic backgrounds, it also makes you feel comfortable, too comfortable. You know what I mean? Because you have so many different options.
Why do I have to go somewhere else? Why do I have to go somewhere else if I have everything here? Right.
Exactly. And so it there's like I don't know if you've heard that sharks, for example, right? When you buy a baby shark, it'll actually form to the exact size of the environment. So if you keep it in a fishbowl, it'll stay just a couple inches big. But if you throw it in the ocean, it can go up to 6 to 8 feet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that just as a metaphor, that kind of exemplifies and directly reflects what it's like to be someone from New Bedford. Because if you stay there, you'll fit in. You'll be just fine. You won't know any different about what you're missing. But if you distance yourself from just that fishbowl that you've been accustomed to, you go out there and you see other things, you also realize that you can adapt to everything else,
right?
Because of where we were fortunate to grow up in. So that's kind of what it was like as it relates to just me and Brian. We just played ball all day. every day, all day. We'd walk clear across the city, ride bikes clear across the city, get rides clear across the city. And when I say clear across the city, I mean every court had run when we were growing up. So we go from the north end. If that run got weak, we'd go down south to the south end. When that run got weak, we'd go to the west end. If the lights came off, we'd stay out there and we'd hoop until we just knew it was time to go home. So that's kind of what it was like throughout the whole summer.
And for us, it was Aaron's always been a grade ahead of me, so it was like, all right, we were in 6th grade. He's the best hooper. I'm the best hooper in 5th grade, and we were always just a tag team match no matter what we did. We traveled together. Like, we were the big when the NBA guys is teaming up in the NBA, we've been doing that. Like, we played together. Right. When at that age, it's kind of rare because the good players don't want to play with each other. It's a battle. We never really had that competition with one another. Right. But I think one thing about Ace is, and why I think, and we'll get into it more, he succeeded away from New Bedford. He's always had the gift to gab. We could be on a random fucking 15-year-old weekend, and Aaron's like, I'm going to Vermont. I'm like, how the fuck you going to Vermont? We're 15 years old. Who are you? Who do you know in Vermont?
No, that's dead ass the truth. That's dead ass the true story. You know, one time I left the crib, and you know what I used to do? It was funny because I was used to being away from home because I went to prep school when I was 17, and every year through prep school to college, I was just gone. So when I would come home, I got so used to having that freedom that I didn't. I was just completely unable to conform back to what it was like being at home with parents who wanted to be notified of what you were gonna do and shit. I was living like an adult, like on my own, like room at prep school. Like you have cars, you go off campus, you can drink, whatever. So I specifically remember one time I came home. What I used to do is I would tell my dad, like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna go to Vermont this weekend." He'd say, "Okay, cool. Yeah, when you going?" Probably Saturday. That would be the conversation because it's like Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Any normal person when Friday comes, like, yo, so thinking about going to Vermont tomorrow. Yo, one time I just didn't want him to tell me no, or even though he probably would, I just didn't want him to tell me no. So it's like 9 p.m. I left early in the morning. He calls me like, yo, man, where are you? I was like, I'm in Vermont. He's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yo, what's the problem? I told you I was going. He's like, yeah, but you told me you was going 5 days ago. You knew that you just didn't want to have the conversation because I probably would have told you no.
Right.
He's like, when are you coming back? I was like, probably in a few days. I'm just gonna take the bus. He's like, all right, smooth. He's like, just be safe out there. But yeah, that was kind of just what I got accustomed to early on was just leaving the fishbowl. Once I left,
so we want to tap into that prep school shit. But before we tap in, right? We're gonna leave the high school. New Bedford High. You go to New Bedford High. We know New Bedford. Probably Icy knows New Bedford from what I tell him. You know, when we're at Loyola, I make sure motherfuckers know, like, I'm from New Bedford. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Aaron, that's something that we've always grew accustomed to. We always say where we're from and make sure people know. And it kind of always shocked me that people were like, I heard of that place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you play your freshman year, I believe you played, or your sophomore year on the varsity team.
Right.
What's your basketball thoughts? What's your basketball goals at that time?
Yeah, Division I basketball. And Division I basketball, and to play varsity. This is obviously like I'm entering sophomore year as a student. I'm thinking I want to play varsity. And it's going to be the start of my 3 years that are extremely pivotal to end up getting not just a scholarship, but especially a Division I scholarship. Because where we come from, you just don't have the radar on you. And when I say where we come from, I mean strictly as it relates to like New Bedford, not New England, not Massachusetts, just New Bedford. You don't really have that ray of light on you from the collegiate coaches, primarily the scholarship level. So you gotta get into it's a circuit. And I didn't really realize what that meant at the time. I realize now as you get older because, everything and every market that you're in, any line of work, it's all a market. You know what I'm saying? So you have to market yourself. It starts with your sophomore year. Freshman year is great, but it's not as likely. The sophomore year is pretty necessary. And then you get on a great AAU team, and then you repeat that for 3 years. And if you outplay the average person, then typically you get what you want.
the biggest balance for the youth now or high school players in general is the balance of not the bounce. Like, if we stop playing because it's fucking fun, but if you could understand that you're doing it because you love to do it, while understanding that it's a business. Like, the earlier you can realize that, the earlier you're gonna figure it all out.
Yeah, yo, and what's crazy is Brian, like it became like as we get further in, it kind of comes full circle, this whole convo. So it's important that you remember, like, right now, what I'm about to say, which is that it became a business to me very young. Like, that game became a business to me at 13 years old. I was leaving middle school, walking clear across the city downtown to jump on a bus to go to Providence, Rhode Island, where I would get picked up by my godfather, who would take me to a gym on the west side of Providence in the hood with kids who grew up playing ball together since they were 6.
Right.
And I'm the new guy.
Right.
And I have to.
It took you out of your comfort zone.
Completely. It made me completely, and it made me stop even looking at what I wanted the same way, because that's what made me look at what scholarship basketball really looked like, because they were tougher, they were taller, they were stronger.
They weren't better though. We used to whoop their ass every weekend if you brought them niggas home.
Oh yeah, but but the difference was pound for pound, just as a city in its entirety. There's just more in Providence than there is in Bedford.
I think,
you know what I'm saying?
More of a quality quantity, but at that time growing up, we had the quantity. We had enough guys around that was different, and I think
they were just bigger. They were a lot bigger, so they had that. They had guys that were 6'5" already, who could shoot threes and could put the ball on the floor. Those are kids that's collegiate shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Guards, of course, but we just didn't, we're not a big man city. Providence is a major city, so you're going to get major anything from a major city, as opposed to some of the smaller neighboring towns around it, such as New Bedford.
But real quick before Icy goes in with his next question, I think that business part really strikes me, because you left New Bedford High School to go to prep school. I mean, me and you know the reasons. We don't have to really tap into that.
Right.
That helped me understand how much of a business that it actually was. Because I remember crying like, damn, my best friend is leaving. We were supposed to play together next year. Like, you were on varsity your sophomore year. My freshman year, I was on JV, and it was like, damn, this is not what I was expecting it to be. So my perspective on all of it changed in that second.
Yeah, and it was kind of wild too, because, like, I'm sure both of you, well, no, Brian, I know you know, but everybody knows now at this point in time, prep school basketball is completely saturated. It's like the thing. You want to go D1, the first goal is everyone's like, yo, I want to play prep school basketball. It wasn't really that at the time. Prep school coaches had to actually go recruit and educate talented players of what prep school ball was, and encourage them to come up. You know what I'm saying? I was encouraged to go to prep school by my AAU coach. I didn't know anything about it. I knew what table was, but didn't understand that was a completely different sector of basketball. I just knew it was private school.
Hey, but fuck your AAU coach, because we could have won at least 2 state championships if it wasn't for that much. Fuck him.
Yeah.
So,
but it was. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No. I was just saying that it's a lot different now. It's every kid's first dream to go to prep school, and then you just feel like that's the cheat code for anything you want to get in college. So the first step for a lot of kids is like, yo, I'm setting the goal because I want to go to prep school on a scholarship, and then that is directly a reflection of what business is. You're being paid to play basketball and get an education. If you fuck up in either, you will lose your scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that AAU, leaving middle school at 13, prepared me for what I was going to endure in prep school, even though I couldn't have foreseen that.
So you get over to prep school. What was the level of competition like? What kind of players were you playing with? Did you have any high Division I players on your team? And where were your sights at that point? You were still locked in on Division I?
Yeah, it was dope. So I did my sophomore year at New Bedford High School. I went in there, repeated my sophomore year, which is like the thing to do. because the level of competitiveness, to answer your question, is it's the highest in the world.
Yeah.
It's the most competitive high school.
The NEPSAC is the best country in the world.
Yeah, the NEPSAC stands for New England Prep School Athletic Conference. It's it's the most competitive, athletic, and sought out high school conference
in the country.
In the world.
It's not even close.
In the world.
Right.
Because you know what I mean? And so, as it relates to being the most competitive in the world, I have players from all around the world on my team. Like our center, who was a junior, was 6'9". We recruited him from Africa. He was from the Cameroon. He ended up going and winning 2 championships at UCLA with Aaron Aflalo and Jordan Farmer and those guys. He was ranked like 13 in the country by his senior year before he graduated from school with Alfred Aboya.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You also played with John Hahn, didn't you?
Yeah, so John Hahn.
I used to whoop John. John Hahn went to Fairfield, Icy, so he was in a match.
I remember he snuffed his coach in the face.
Yeah, he did. He got kicked out his senior year. I used to give John Hahn the work.
John Hahn's still getting buckets in Puerto Rico, I think.
Really?
Yeah, bro, it ain't hard to play. They're solid out there, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
John Hahn's getting buckets in Puerto Rico. That just pissed me off.
He was also
on a podcast with you motherfuckers.
Yeah, John Hahn, you know what's crazy? John Hahn had a good career though. Like,
right.
He had I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll tell you a secret, bro. You know how I was like a very athletic point guard. Like, I played at the rim. You know what I'm saying? Yo, John Hahn's the reason why I started playing that way. I had never seen that. I never saw that in person before him, where a guard would get, coming down the lane. If you had those 2 steps, you take it to the big man. Not
John Hahn was dunking on motherfuckers?
Oh, John Hahn was throwing it in person.
What happened at Fairfield? What the fuck happened at Fairfield?
He was frail body.
Whoa, man, he was frail. I was like, this is the dude y'all worried about?
Yeah.
Frail. No offense to the Caucasian community, but as a black basketball player, when I see a white guard in front of me, I think automatically I have the upper hand. It's like I can't never allow this to happen.
Instantly, I'm just like,
I don't care who it
is. No matter how good he is, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game for me.
Right. I'm definitely faster than him. At least.
I'm definitely stronger, and you're not gonna talk shit to me. So I'm gonna do everything I can to intimidate you.
At least.
Got racial there, real quick.
Yo, society right now is in our favor. So
right. Hey, look it.
But nah, he's the one who made me see the benefits of like looking at the rim when you go to the hoop, not looking at the player. So like at that year was when I started actually, like, if I would get by someone, I was going up to hit glass. If I had someone on my shoulder, I was even trying to like punch on their ass. Like he's the person. If I was coming down the lane in transition, or if I beat my man and a big man steps up, there wasn't gonna be none of that. I was going above you. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's the one who I got that from. So I didn't learn anything else, but that was.
Hey man, shout out to John Hahn then. Hey, I apologize, John Hahn.
Yeah, that was,
stay in front of me, but you helped my best friend out, so we good.
Yeah, that was something I got to see, but yeah, it was cool though. To answer your question, bro, it was the best decision I ever made. Just in terms of how it influenced me and shaped me as a person, a young man. A family member, a friend, especially an athlete, like especially, you know what I mean? Because I had to pay my dues there. You know what I mean? I'm coming in as a sophomore, and there's people 21 years old, 22 years old on the team. You know what I mean?
From prep school, you go to Bethune-Cookman, and you transfer to St. Andrews in North Carolina, Division II basketball school. Just give us a quick breakdown on how your playing career went there, because obviously I know what you was doing out there, and I hate the fact that people from our city don't understand what you was doing out there as much as they should. I mean, the people that are important to us know, but I wish it was even more thought of.
Right, to Cookman? I mean, to St. Andrews?
And St. Andrews. Talk to us about your playing career there.
Yeah, well, it was funny because, like, yo, all right, so let me ask you, bro. You play ball your whole life, right?
Right.
How many times did you end up on the same team with a coach's son who played the same position as you?
Yeah, my whole childhood. Shout out to Tommy Caballo.
Your whole childhood.
My whole childhood.
Yo, that's
So
you.
it was one. So it was one person you grew up with.
Yeah, my whole life.
Okay, yeah. This happened to me 3 times in different teams, completely different teams. Like,
Alex,
so it happened to me in the Bedford High. It happened to me when I went to Division One school, but not my first. Not like it wasn't my first year. My first year going in, right? I redshirted because there was 2 senior point guards. So the coach was like, "I'm gonna have a red shirt." You know what I'm saying? There's no point in you coming in your freshman year, like on, you know what I mean? So he's like, "Just red shirt. Get these guys out of here because they paid their dues." The year after that, his son. You know, when you go to school, you hear shit. You know what I'm saying? You know everything about your coach. His son was going to high school like 2 hours away. He was doing pretty well for himself. He fucking signed his son to come in to play point guard at his school. And it's all like, yo, I'm not dealing with this
This
kid.
is at what? Is this at Bethune-Cookman?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I was like, yo, I'm out of here. I wasn't dealing. I dealt with it with AAU, with the Middlesex Magic. I dealt with it in high school. I was just like, yo, I know where this is going. I'm not doing it again. And it was a good thing because all my old players were calling like, yo, this motherfucker is averaging 22 shots a game as the point guard. It was crazy, bro. I would look at his stat sheet and be like 15 points, 3 assists.
Tell
And
us
it's like, yeah,
about your best years over at St. Andrews. What was you doing over there? I gave Icy a little rundown earlier, but I honestly think we talked to Speedy Claxton about this. Our era of basketball, and Speedy's a little older than us, is not the mixtape era. But if it was the mixtape era, your mixtape would have been fucking phenomenal based on what you were doing as at the point guard position.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, I finished for 3 years, I was top 10 in the country in assists. By my senior year, I was actually third in all of the NCAA 1, 2, and 3 in triple doubles. I had 4 of them. I mean, I broke a lot of records
in 40 minutes. People don't realize that.
Yeah,
It's much different than the NBA having triple
yeah.
doubles.
In the conference I played in. Actually, over the past 10 years, we have the most Division II conference championships. So it's a very, very competitive league. And I actually, one of our games actually, I don't know to this day, but it might be. It's been like 8 years. The highest scoring NCAA game in history. It was like 150 to like 147.
So how much did you end up with in that game?
Huh?
How much did you end up with that game? What was those numbers?
I had 37 and 25 assists, and I had like 14. It was like 37, 25, and 14, something like that. It was crazy, but yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, and I was for half of the year I was top 20 in points as well. So I was top 10 and top 20 between points and assists. It was great, bro. I mean, I had like 4 pro offers. As you're aware, because Brian, we was even going, Cape Verde, but I just decided, what was crazy was, man, I realized, well, I guess I'll wait until
No, because we're gonna tap into that.
That's what I was about to ask. So
that was literally next. Like, go ahead, Icy, you got it.
No, I was about to say, at what point, obviously you're cooking in college, you're putting up these crazy numbers. At what point did you realize, that basketball wasn't going to be your profession, by choice? Like, obviously you had the pro offers, but what led you down a different path that we're going to get into?
Honestly, bro, what it was kind of like why, about 15 minutes ago, I told you, like, pay attention to what I was saying at that time because everything comes full circle. Basketball started as a business to me at 13 years old. 13 years old, I was walking clear across the city to get on a bus to go 40 minutes with stops to get picked up to go to practice with people I don't know. So I had to believe in myself. I had to be my own rock solid foundation, believing in what I was there for, believing in my talents and capabilities. When you go through, all the AAU shit I've been through, prep school shit, living away from home, you know what I'm saying, college in 2 different places, I realized after I've been playing since I was probably 6, 7. You're talking like probably 22 years, 23 years of playing, and really a solid like 12 years competitively as a business. I just realized that what I really wanted, as I always thought I wanted to play pro. When I realized was I just wanted to know I was good enough.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? By the time I had the opportunity to do it, I actually stepped back and reassessed what my future looked like doing that. And I was
And
like, do I really want? Do I
that's
really want?
like, not to cut you off, that's the perfect way to put it. Because even now, that's like my biggest thing. It's like I know if I chose to do that route, it would happen. Like all I ever wanted to do was like, man, you're Brian Rudolph, you're Aaron Christian from New Bedford, and those motherfuckers can hoop. They're good enough. You know what I'm saying? That was enough
Yeah,
for me. And the
yeah.
certainty
For
of
me,
controlling their own destiny. I want to control my own destiny. Playing overseas, to me, unless the money is six figures, it ain't motherfucking worth it. I can
yeah,
make more
nah,
money as a critic.
and yeah, because for me, I was like, yo, do I really want to go away again to another country,
Right.
different language, like completely different culture, different foods within the ethnicity, nobody that I know, just to keep on doing this? Or like, I had a prep school education paid for, I had a college education paid for, I met thousands and thousands of people. I got that at that point. I had traveled the country, even stepped outside of the country. Um, in some cases, all because of basketball. Stayed away from, you know what I'm saying, getting caught up in the streets and shit with like a lot of the people around us. Do I really
Not
want
your
to go?
boy.
Yeah, no, yeah, my man caught a case, but it was
Not
all
your
like
boy. I'm just
allegedly,
kidding. Allegedly.
no, allegedly. But but yeah, no, I was just like, do I really want to go do this shit like this? Like God and my family and my friends and surroundings gave me so many more laurels that I could rely on, so many more gifts that I could utilize, and there's a whole fucking world out there. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like basketball was my world, but it's like I accomplished it. I did everything that there is to do other than play pro, and it wasn't because I wasn't good enough. It's because I chose not to. So I was able to walk away from it knowing, like, yo, there's way more shit out there for me. I'm excited for a new
On
adventure.
your own terms, so to say. Because
Yeah,
basketball
because
is
I
a
know a
tool.
lot of motherfuckers. Yeah, because yo, I went to school, and you did too, bro. There's a lot of motherfuckers I went to school with who, bro, I got motherfuckers I play ball with who are DJing now, and they're not DJs. Like, understand what that means? They're DJing parties, and they're not DJs.
They're
And
not
these niggas got
easy.
a computer. They got a computer with a playlist in their head. That motherfucker with headphones on like this, walking out of there with like
Yo,
$150.
it's like, hey, if it's a tool, you use it as long as you can. Use it like it uses you. All of this is a tool. If you could keep using it in different aspects, yo, go ahead. But it's a tool at the end of the day. As much
Exactly,
as we used to
exactly.
preach ball is life, it is, but it isn't. It isn't.
Yeah, well, it just has an expiration date no matter what, no matter how
Right.
you look at it. Not the game in its entirety, but as a player, it has an expiration date. So you got to ask yourself if you want to be in the business of basketball post being a player. You know what I'm saying? Are you passionate about the other things that you'd be doing?
Right.
Because contrary to what they tell you, it's fucking bullshit. You're not going to come out of basketball from playing overseas for 5, 6, 7 years and just think you about to jump into a high paying job in corporate America. That's not
Unless
gonna
you
happen.
were making six figures, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, and even then, it's just like
But at least you have money, six figures. You get a
for
house paid
sure,
for. You
for
got a house
sure,
paid for, food. At least you got some money saved to start another business. You know, real
for sure,
estate,
but
a
for
gym,
sure, but it,
something. You know what I mean?
for sure, but then even surpassing that, the one thing you gotta ask yourself is, you know, you got to be honest with yourself as an individual, as a person, and say, yo, does the money matter enough to me for the sacrifices I'm giving up to do this? Because in order to be great at anything, it comes with great sacrifice. Now you're
Right.
talking about giving up everything that you've already sacrificed
10
and leaving
months
that
away from your
behind you
family.
to go sacrifice a whole new life
Right.
all
I
over
mean,
again. And,
this.
and it's like you got to ask yourself, is the money worth doing that to you? Because
Right.
if it is, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But if it isn't, then it don't even matter how much you make over there. You're gonna be happy. You know what I'm
Right. And
saying?
there's so many, and I apologize because there's so many different layers to it. I shouldn't say unless you're making six figures because the love of the game is definitely something you hold on to. Like I'll tell kids now, you play as long as you can. But at the
Right.
same time, it comes at it depends on who you are as a person. you have the contacts to make things work after you're done playing. The way you position yourself while you're playing is probably the most important thing. Just don't rely on that to give you success when it's all done. That makes sense.
Yeah, nah, exactly. So yeah, to answer your question, bro, and you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much where I left off. But I was just like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what it was for me too. You know what I realized was when I was playing so fucking good. It started my junior year. It wasn't my senior year. I was seeing all the success that you want to see as an individual, but as a teammate, and then also just in terms of what your record looks like amongst your competitors. That I didn't like practicing anymore. And I still would get the same results that I wanted out of the game with what used to take real hard work in a lifetime of practice. I wasn't working hard anymore on my free time, and I'd still go in the game, and I was coming out with 25 and 12. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what's my motivation to go practice now and work harder? Because I'm having more fun winning, playing great, and enjoying my social life on the college campus. My social life became more important to me than practicing outside.
I mean, that makes sense knowing you now.
And that and that's what led me to want to do something else, was because I was like, yo, I just want to fucking enjoy my life, and I don't want to feel like I have to do anything. I want to do it because I want to, because I was always basketball, but it did get to the point where I just loved being competitive. I like competition. I didn't like the practice part against myself, you know.
And I think that's a perfect transition to what we can speak on next. Is how the fuck do you end up in the music industry now?
That's what that's what I'm excited to hear about right now.
Right. We tapped into the basketball piece because, I mean, not a basketball show, but we talk about basketball here. We all met through basketball, but we really want to tap into the music industry side and what you do. And I know you're great at, and you're gonna even be even greater at in the future. How did that even happen? Now, obviously, R.I.P. to your pops, Armstead Christian. Your dad was a Grammy Award winning winner. There's no way recipient. There's no other way to put it. So music is in your family. The crazy part is, growing up, we never knew that. As your friend, we never knew how important your pops was, even music-wise. Because to me, you know what I call him? He's a philosopher. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was the philosopher. So he was the dad. We went to the house, and he'll give us that real talk. You think, you ever see Boys in the Hood?
Yeah.
So you think of Cuba Gooding's dad. That was Ace's dad. He was our dads. Like, we had completely two different dads, but at the same time, they played pivoted roles in our lives. So where does the music come from? Does it come from the family? Like, bring us into that, Ace.
Yeah, it was in terms of like how I got into it.
Right.
Or like, yo, honestly, like when I was in college hooping, when I went to Cookman, I used to go to Miami a lot. So Bethune-Cookman, the first college I went to, right, it's in Daytona Beach. Miami's about 3 hours from there. I was in Miami a lot once I got exposed to it, because it's fucking Miami. It's fucking crazy. Like, I had never been to Miami before. You know what I'm saying? Before the first time I went, which
we still gotta make that trip. We still gotta make that trip. Shout out to Cordae.
Facts. And then I got you know what I'm saying? I had friends on campus who were from there. And then also I had friends that I had from prep school who went to school down there. So I was linking up with them. I was linking up with them. It was showing me around. I was meeting their friends would become my friends, having hella fun, doing wild shit. You know what I'm saying? Experiencing that whole life for the first time. Huh?
Were you hitting the clubs out there at this age, or?
Man, I was doing everything. Come on, bro. Come on. You know what I did. I was fucking doing everything.
He was having fun, man.
I was having fun, man.
You ready to get in the background? He was having fun.
Yeah, yo. So I'm down there having a blast. And one of my homegirls was like in the scene. She knew like a whole bunch of celebrities at the time. And one of them was Wyclef. And he had a deal with T-Mobile when he was doing like a big show in Miami. So she brought me, I met him. We had a good conversation backstage. We became real cool. Stayed in touch for a couple of years. By the time my senior year came, I was like, yo, I think I want to come work with you. I've been Googling consultants because I heard about what consulting is. It works with people. No day. Next day is like the day before.
Yeah.
You help people and you get to offer creative advice. And I think I'd like to be in music. A consultant in music is an A&R. Stands for artist and repertoire. So it's an A&R consultant. So I think I want to be A&R for your record label that you're starting. He was coming back from Haiti at the time from running for president. There's a whole bunch of corrupt shit happening there. So he was like, yo, I got to get out. It's too crazy. You know what I'm saying? The current president is trying to kill me. Yeah, so he was like, yo, I'd love to have you work with me. I wanted to tell you that, but I didn't want to compromise you because I know that you're hooping. And he's like, but I had been giving him a lot of information while I was in college. At this time, like J. Cole, Kendrick, they're just starting to bubble. So I'm like, yo, pay attention to this person, pay attention to this person. Essentially, I was like the young ear to what we were all listening to, which was giving him information as the past generation of what he should be paying attention to. Because mind you, we were switching into a digital age now. All music was starting to live online, not on the radio.
Yeah.
So all those websites like Live Mixtapes and That Piff and all that stuff, World Star, I was on those watching shit, telling him what he should be paying attention to so that he could keep up with the flow of what was hot. So by the time I seen the Air Cam, I just figured like, yo, this shit is kind of fun. I think it might be something I want to do full time, and I love music. It's just in me. So I went out to New York like my second week out of college. He gave me his home address, went out there. Huge fucking mansions. First time I seen something like that. So now I'm inspired and I want to be in. And then I'm in the studio with him like every week. He would tell me like, yo, come out. I'm in the studio with people who like I grew up listening to. And now they're just like sitting next to me in the studio and shit.
Who are some of those people, Ace?
Shit, Diddy, French Montana, Mary J. Blige, Pras from the Fugees, T.I.,
the who's who.
2 Chainz.
I meant to say, who weren't any of those people?
Who weren't? Like, who didn't?
I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. I'm just kidding. Your name.
I was gonna say, that's a long list too at the time.
Oh,
not so much now, but not so much now. I pretty much seen him at everybody now, but at that time, that was pretty, But yeah, it was. You know what it was? It was the hustle again. I found another thing to start hustling at the same way it was when I first picked up a basketball. It was something that no one knew me in. I had to prove myself. I had to learn quickly, and I was learning quickly because I was passionate about it. So I always tell people the transition was seamless because whether you realize it or not, basketball and music are very synonymous, which is why they both professionally want to do what the other one's doing. All rappers want to fucking play basketball. All basketball players want to rap. And the transition really is so seamless. You know what I'm saying? So I transitioned very, very easily. Because I think one of the differences is that if you don't come from playing a sport, and if you especially don't come playing a sport where you're a leader and you're an exceptional player, then you won't understand that competitive nature that's naturally in you, that confidence, those leadership skills. It's not something that you just find in any other market. You find it in sports. You don't just find that shit in music. You don't find that shit in a corporate office. You don't find it in retail. You don't find it in designer. You know what I'm saying? You don't find it in acting.
You can always tell what the house dog in the room is. Yeah.
Always, without them trying to be it. It's an energy that surrounds you, and other people gravitate towards it. That's what makes people follow. That's what makes you a leader. Leaders, I always say, leaders are the best servants. But yeah, it gave me something new to dive into. It allowed me to exert my competitive nature in a sport that was unfamiliar to me, but was becoming familiar very fast because I picked it up and had passion in the same way it was when I first picked up basketball. And so as I started to get deeper, I started to realize they're very similar, even just in like the characteristics that each market entails. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how I made the transition. And then honestly, around Wyclef, I never forget. He called me one day. It was just like, yo, I love having you around. You're doing a great job. But if you want to get bigger in what you're doing, you need to use me. Use my name to bring people to the studio. Use my name to bring me deals. Use my name because my name is worth opportunity. And anything you bring to me, I'll never let you fall. I will always back you up on it. I won't leave you up to dry. So I just started hustling. Yeah, exactly. He served me right there. So I started hustling, just trying to put plays together. But yo, Wyclef wants to do this. Wyclef wants to do that. Yeah. And anytime I'll bring something to the table that's dope, he do it. So now those people became my relationship, whether it was Fiji or Voss Water or Skittles or Chance the Rapper, who I started with, who I put in the studio with, Wyclef, which is what led to me working with Chance for years. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I manage Cordae now. We were nominated for a Grammy, the last Grammys, for Best Rap Sung Record, which featured Cordae and Chance, and that relationship came together by Chance reaching out to Cordae. But it was a full circle moment because I know Chance and I know his manager Pat, and when they were in the studio, his manager walked in and was like, "Oh, Ace managers you, right?" Yeah, I started with Ace, man. We all started with him. He's a great guy. So it just comes to show you how things work out. Like, I introduced Chance to Wyclef, and then I ended up getting a Grammy nomination with Chance later on down the line.
Explain to us. You're talking about Cordae. How was the relationship with you and Cordae developed? Like, how did that happen? Where did you guys meet? How did that form? To be in the position that you're in and have the relationship that you have with him now.
It was dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cordae was always around just because he knew Namir, but he never ever said that he rapped. Cordae's just like an actual, like, genuine individual, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, and he doesn't sell himself. He's grounded, you know what I'm saying? Like, he went to college and everything, so.
What college did he go to?
He went to, what's the college in Baltimore?
Towson?
Morgan State?
Towson. He went to Towson.
Cordae went to Towson?
Yeah,
bro. You remember Towson's fight nights every Tuesday at Craig's?
Mondays. It was Mondays. I remember.
Mondays. I'm sorry, man. I was blacked out. It turned into Tuesday.
Real fast.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Monday and Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. Still was a Tuesday. Well,
that's crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so
him and Davies. Wow, they have bars over there in Towson.
Facts. Yeah, no. So I met him, just from Namir, but I never knew he rapped. He wasn't doing music around Namir or nothing like that. One day I just was going through a SoundCloud when I was driving through Texas on tour, and I went through like 13 records. Like, yo, this kid's fucking unbelievable. I just asked him if, I told him like, yo, I want to work. If, you know what I'm saying? If
that's crazy.
You give me, it's like if you give me like a month, I promise you, like we're gonna fucking win, bro. Like we'll be famous in a month. You'll be famous in a month. It's like I trust you. So he went by a different name at the time, which I'm not gonna say. But I was like, yo, I think you should change your name to YBN Cordae. He's like, really? I prefer just Cordae. I was like, yeah, but the problem is YBN right now is the hottest young brand in music. Yeah. And if you put YBN in front of your name, the way you rap, it's gonna go up right away because the element of surprise, and you're nothing like Jay and Amir. And honestly, it took like 30 days, and he was fucking out of here. And then, yeah, like the rest is kind of history. We just been rocking for like the past almost 2 years.
And what do you do in terms of your working relationship with him? What do you handle for the people that don't completely understand the business?
I mean, so look, this is how. Remember how I told you it was a seamless transition from basketball to music. As a manager, you're the assistant coach. Now, what an assistant coach's job is to assemble the team, to identify players' strengths and weaknesses in order to understand how to set each player up for success, not failure, right? So if I recruit you as an assistant coach, right, I'm going to go back to the head coach. Now, mind you, in music, there is no head coach. There's it's just that the role of a manager is more of a reflection of an assistant coach. So that's why I use that as an analogy. So as an assistant coach, if you recruit a point guard and you go to the head coach and say he's the one, the head coach is going to take your word for it. But it's up to you to identify that point guard may be great for that team you saw him playing for, but he may not fit the mold of what you're building. You know what I'm saying? So
responsibility,
so it's important to identify the strengths and weaknesses of your client, right? Which is your artist, which is the same as an assistant coach, what he has to do for a player. You have to identify what their trajectory looks like and what their realistic capabilities are over 4 years. The player you're recruiting might not be meant to go pro. He might be meant because he can be a great.
There's different ceilings for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be realistic with yourself. You don't have to be, but you're never realistic with them. If a coach ever told you this is about as big as you can get, then he's the worst at his job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's identifying what their ceiling should be, knowing their personality, extremely important because the player you see on the court is a player, right? But the person will come out in compromising times. When it's a 1-point game and they throw a turnover, who that person is going to come out.
Yeah, you're gonna see what
if they're an asshole, they're gonna blame other people. They're gonna throw a fit. They might curse out at the ref, cry for a foul.
Hey, you sound like a fucking leader right now.
Yeah, you know. if they're a grounded player, you might see them just do one of these to their players and their coach, like yo. But then you can see that their head is on. Now everyone around them gets their head back on. If they're weak minded, right, and they can't take constructive criticism well, they might fuck up on the next play when you need them to get the ball back. So it's important to identify the person that you're dealing with because they can't be that player if you don't allow them to be the person first. Because they're only a player when they put the jersey on. Just like an artist is only an artist when the lights or the camera's on.
Yeah.
When the camera's off and there's no lights, they're just that person. That's who you're dealing with.
And I was trying to tell them before too, just being out in LA with you every year. Like you bring me around these certain different people, and I don't see the artist side of them. I see the regular person.
Well, that's the thing. You get to a point where, and the largest part of it is that person. They're gonna be who they want to be. Right. You're just a compass. You're just a GPS to help get them where they're supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like no coach can make you practice hard. You have to want to do that.
You gotta want it more than them.
Yeah, they can give you all the tools, but you got to do it. You know. So like. To your point, Brian, the reason why you see him like that is because he's actually a great individual. You know what I'm saying? Right. But none of us are perfect, so I'm just there as like a compass when he needs me to keep him going in the direction he's supposed to go. Now, if I focused on just the artist, not only would there be a disconnect between me and him, there might not even be a working relationship.
Yeah.
Because I might not understand him, and he might not want to work with me because of that. You know what I'm saying? One thing's for sure, we won't see the level of success that we see. You know what I mean? Right. Teamwork is all about chemistry.
Now, with that word success, like where do you think? And I mean, I obviously know the journey you've been on in the musically. Like, what would you say? Because I feel like you have one of these now. You should at least. What was your "I'm here" moment? Like I'm here, man. Like this is
crazy. Like I'm at this party with Diddy, you know, whatever it was.
Right, like this. I think I might know your answer to this. I might know your answer to this, but I want to hear you maybe say it because you told me it. If it's not it, I'm gonna say what you told me once before.
I mean, there's a couple, but I think the first time, I think it comes in levels, right? Like it's almost like, again, I'm just gonna keep comparing things to basketball because you guys both played it, and those are a lot of the people who are gonna probably listen in. There's an I'm here moment the first time that you sign a scholarship to college. And then there's another one when you first put the jersey on, right, in practice. And there's another when you put the game jersey on. And then there's another when you have a game high. You know what I'm saying? I think the first one for me was the XXL freshman cover. When Namir was on the XXL freshman cover, when we went to the shoot to do the whole cover shoot and all that. That was like the first moment for real.
And if for our audience who does, when he says Namir, he's talking about YB and Namir. Like he's I didn't even realize, and you're my best friend, right? I didn't even realize how popular that kid was until I started coaching. When I was the head coach at New Bedford High School basketball, and the kids used to bang out to this dude on the bus because obviously I'm tapped into. I was 30 years old, 29. I'm tapped into another music. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard the song, but I was like, this song goes. Didn't really think nothing of it. And to the point where I hit Ace up, and Ace was like, yo, I'm like, yo, is this the dude you be managing? I was oblivious to it. I was like, this motherfucker, these kids go crazy for him. And he had sent me a video before a game against our rivals. We were like, yo, y'all go kick Brockton's ass. And the kids went crazy, bro. And I was like, damn.
I forgot about that.
Yo, and then there was another time when Ace hit me up. He was in New Bedford with Namir and was like, yo, I'm trying to get into the schools and all that. And we had set up to get him in the schools. He went to alternative school. Then he went to New Bedford High School. And the crowd that was out there, the kids were amazed. I texted all my basketball guys and was like, yo, YB and Namir is going to be outside. I need you to tell everybody. that he's gonna be out there in the parking lot. So they went on a fucking left the class like, yo, Namir's gonna be outside. And these people are like, no, you're not. You're capping. We're not believing you. As they got outside, that motherfucker was there, and you see his star power, which was amazing. So I understand. I say that to say this. I get what you're saying with that double XL because I got to see it from my own perspective, my own lens.
And I want to keep this going, but quick comment. People don't realize I was in double XL as well. They had me in. Me and my. I'm not even lying. Luke, the producer, is gonna have to put this in here. Double XL. Maybe it was 2015. They did the top 10 whips of the year, like the.
You and your mom's,
and they had me and my mom in there. Double XL.
That's hysterical.
All right,
kind of awkward that I'm the only one in here that's never been in double XL. So
back to the double XL shoot.
Yeah, no, that
know
was
what
like
it
the
is.
first moment. That was like the first moment, just because I had always told myself, like, damn, you know, with every artist I worked with, I was like, man, the goal is to become a double XL freshman. Then when we got the call that we made it, and like they wanted us to fly to New York to do the video shoot and the photo shoot, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like this is like really happening. That was like for sure, like that first moment when I was like, okay, yeah, this is like real.
What about even like Cordae's reached? Like Cordae's one of the top. Now I didn't even want to say up and coming because he's here. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about I'm here moments. He's fucking here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like what moment with Cordae is that's hit you with as your I'm here moment as far as doing your part for him in that role that you
it was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy because I knew we was gonna make the double XL freshman cover. Actually, I knew it so much that they actually called me. The president of Double XL called me. She was like, "Yo, she was like, really, what you're supposed to do is go there and do what they call the Double XL freshman circuit, where like you do an interview and they ask you why you think you should be a freshman, and then people got to vote." She just called me and was like, "Yo," because I was like, "Yo, we're not gonna be able to make it. We're in the middle of working on the album. I'm just not gonna be able to make it." So she called me back a week later and was like, "Yo, so there's no way you can make it." I was like, "No." She's like, "All right, well, look, you guys are the first ones. Congrats, you guys made it." I'm like, "All right, dope." I was excited, but I knew we were gonna do it. So to do it 2 years in a row was crazy because
I was out in LA with you before you went to New York to record that.
Yeah, and it hasn't happened to too many managers where they've done it back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like it happened with TDE, it happened with Funk Volume. I can't really think of no others where it happened 2 years back to back.
How does that raise your stock, so to say, as a manager? Well, does the industry take notice of that? Like, shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, they definitely know time is, but you know, you're only successful when you're in the middle of success. You know what I'm saying? Like people ain't gonna look back at you a year ago what you did and be like, yeah, he's lit. It's like you got to keep on going, and you got to do it again, and then you got to do it again and again, and that's what success looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
it's the same theory. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it definitely did. But you know, it's like we just put out a new single, us and Roddy Ricch, and that's going crazy. And so that's the first single we dropped this year, coming off a Grammy nominated album. You know what I'm saying? And Cordae is actually one of only 9 rappers in the history of music who has been nominated for a Grammy for his first project. So to go all 2020 not dropping something and then drop this is a hit record. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's another example of like being in one of those moments. You know what I'm saying? Now, had we not done anything, it probably would have been a poor reflection of me. I'm sure people would have looked at it that way, even though it's not like a make or break, you know. But that's just kind of how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What about? Go ahead, Icy.
I had a quick question about Cordae because I'm a big tennis fan. So I wanted to know about Naomi. Are you going to the tennis matches? You know, like obviously before COVID was going on. Like, how is that?
Nah, because that's their relationship. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's not. And like,
she seems like a very down to earth, awesome human being.
Yeah, she is. She's amazing.
For real. They almost
I don't
feel
even
like
want to say
they're perfect for each other.
Yeah, I don't even want to say like she's like, I guess, you know, she's like family. She's like family. You know, she be over
Right.
here at the house with my son, holding him, and
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
what I
mean.
want
It's
to hear. Like if you knew her like that. Yeah,
yeah, of course. Like, but like that's what I'm saying is like
yeah,
we don't even see her as like
yeah.
Naomi Osaka. We know who she is, but like she's like family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no when she comes over or whatever. It's no different than like if you were to walk through the door right now. We would greet you just the same as we greet her.
Maybe a little different. We might party a little different, slightly, but
Nah, yeah. If anything, yeah. To be honest with you, it's more exciting if y'all walk through. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, she's very very normal, very grounded, like very humble. Like
That's
now,
you know, the last
who
one.
did you think you were when you're in TMZ with fucking MGK and Megan Fox? I'm not gonna lie, slight hate. I've never hated on you a day in my life, but the fact you were sharing drinks with MGK, and I know you weren't with Megan Fox, but she was in your presence. That kind of pissed me off a little bit. I was jealous.
It was kind of weird because like I hadn't even seen MGK since the beginning of COVID. That was the first time I seen him in 4 months, and then like Megan Fox walks, and mind you, we were at a dive bar. We walked out, and I also didn't see paparazzi. Where they shot from, bro, if you look how far we are, like, I did not see them niggas, bro. They was
It was
behind
in
me,
the
like,
fucking hills.
yo, them niggas had, like, they had a scope on that bitch. Because I did not see them niggas. I was looking around. You could see me looking hella weird and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I figured they were right in your face. Yeah.
Nah, they were far away. They were, like, across the street. And what paparazzi does out here, they'll even hide behind you. They tried doing it with me one time, like, shooting behind me. So that if the celebrity looked and turned and saw me, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't see him. I'm like, don't use me as a fucking barricade to shoot behind, nigga. I'm a human being. You gotta ask permission or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how they are. Like you won't see them if they don't want you to see. So that's what happened with that. I didn't feel any type of way because I had met her already before.
All right, Ace. We appreciate you coming on, man. A lot of insight, really valuable. Hopefully, we get you back on in the future. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Hell yeah, you too, bro.
Wow. We're 3 for 3 when it comes to big time guests. Rudy, that's your boy. I'm going to need to come on this next trip out there with LA.
I'm not gonna lie, Icy. You're a nice kid. I don't want you to experience. I don't want you to see the things that I've seen in it.
I'm ready.
Hey, it's like swimming with sharks. It's all fun and dandy when you're watching it on TV, but then when you jump in that water, shit gets a little different.
All right, well, I'm ready. Everyone, make sure you like and subscribe the video on YouTube. It says it right here, Know Your Personnel podcast. Check out Spotify. Check out Apple Music. Share it with some friends. We got some big-time guests coming up. We're hitting hip-hop. We're hitting basketball. Might get some football coming on pretty soon. Just make sure you know your personnel.
See you next week.